चरणन मन लागा, लागा रे। गुरु चरणन मन लागा, लागा रे। गुरु चरणन मन लागा। चरणन मन लागा, लागा रे। गुरु चरणन मन लागा। जन्म का सोया पड़ा मन, जन्म जन्म का सोया पड़ा मन। शब्द सुनत अब जागा, जागा रे। शब्द सुनत अब जागा, चरणन मन लागा, लागा रे। चरणन मन लागा। माता पिता धन कुटुंब का बंधन, माता पिता धन कुटुंब का बंधन। तूता जो कच्छा धागा, धागा रे। टूटा जो कच्छा धागा, गुरु चरणन मन लागा, लागा रे। गुरु चरणन मन लागा। कृपा करी गुरु सर्वोपरि, बहुत कृपा करी गुरु सर्वोपरि। मोह महा निसी भागा, भागा रे। मोह महा निसी भागा, चरणन मन लागा, लागा रे। चरणन मन लागा। गणित चलत चलत चित। गुरु मार्ग नित चलत चलत चित। गुरु पद निधि पाया रे पाया रे। आनंद निज उमराया आया रे। समृत सुख पद पाया। गुरु चरणन मन लागा लागा रे। गुरु चरणन मन लागा। चरणन मन लागा लागा रे। गुरु चरणन मन लागा। गुरु चरणन मन लागा। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया। राम 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 रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया। रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे। रघुकुल बिलनी की डगरिया। राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया। नई शबरी भिलनी की जाई। भजन भाव नहीं जानू रे। राम तुम्हारे दर्शन के हित वन में जीवन पालू रे। चरण कमल से निर्मल कर दो। दासी की झोपड़िया। राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया। रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे। भिलनी की डगरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम। रोज सवेरे वन में जाकर रास्ता साफ कराती हूँ, अपने प्रभु के खातिर वन से चुन चुन के फल लाती हूँ। मीठे मीठे बेरू की मैं भर लाई रे झपरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम। सुंदर श्याम सलोनी सूरत नयनों बीच कसाऊंगी, पद पंकज की रज धर मस्तक जीवन सफल बनाऊंगी। प्रभु जी मुझको भूल गए क्या, दासी की डगरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम। नाथ तुम्हारे दर्शन की नित मैं अब लायक नारी हूँ, दर्शन दर्शन बिन दो नैना तरसे, सुन लो बहुत दुखारी हूँ, मुझको दर्शन दे दो दया में, डालो एक नजरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम। रघुकुल नंदन कब आओगे, भिलनी की डगरिया राम राम रटते रटते बीती रे उमरिया राम राम। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। वर्णानामर्थ संगानाम रसानां छंदसामपि मंगलानां च कर्तारो वंदे वाणी विनायको। Bhavani Shankarau Vande Shraddha Vishwas-rupinau Yabhyam Vina na Pashyanti Siddha Swantastham Vande Bodhamayam Nityam Gurum Shankar-rupinam Yamashrito hi vakropi Chandra sarvatra vandyate Nana Purana Nigamagama Sammatam Yad Ramayane Nigaditam Kvachidanyatopi Swanta Sukhaya Tulsira Gunata Gatha Bhasha Nibandamati Manjulamatanoti Bhasha Nibandamati Manjulamatanoti Hari Om. Okay, if you are joining us tonight for the first time, we are seeing Sri Ramcharitamanas, and in the Ramcharitamanas, Aranyakand, and in Aranyakand, we are seeing the Rama Gita. Lakshmanji puts 5 questions to Bhagwan Shri Ram, and Bhagwan Shri Ram is replying to these questions, and I told these are the best questions we can ask, of course, and it is instructional also to read between the lines that Sitaji is not present while this Rama Gita is going on. Bhagwan Shri Ram, the Lord Ishvara, Lord of the universe himself, is giving Upadesh on the most important questions about life. Jnana, Vairagya, Maya, Bhakti, Isha, Jiva, Bhed, these type of things, right? And she is not present. And the drama is laid out in such a way so as to teach this very important thing, that the person who does not become privy to this type of knowledge, that person is kidnapped and stolen away by the delusion of Maya. Immediately after this Ram Gita, the antecedents to the kidnapping of Sitaji starts immediately. Shurpanakha Ravan ke Bahini. You'll see after here, Shurpanakha's Kathasat, and Shurpanakha is the one who went and poisoned the mind of Ravan. Not that it was not poisoned already. And there, Ravan came and kidnapped Sitaji. So that is symbolic. It is a symbolic act, symbolic drama which is going on. And it tells the Jiva who is not privy to these type of questions and answers, or who is not privy to this knowledge which Bhagavan is disseminating, that Jiva becomes stolen away by Sansara. Maya, Ravan represents that delusion of Maya which keeps that person bound in this Sansar only. So the person gets kidnapped by that, taken away by that, distracted by that type of Maya Prapancha, you see. Now, when we started last night, Bhagavan Shri Ram was giving the introduction, or when we left it last night, Bhagavan Shri Ram was giving the introduction to the last question. It was question number 4, not number 5. But Bhagavan chose to answer this question number 4 in the 5th position. So, this question is, what is Bhakti? Kahu Bhagati. Tell me that Bhakti. Karahu Jehi Daya, by which I can gain your compassion, your mercy. If I practice that devotion, I'll get your mercy. Like that. So that was the question. What is that devotion, in other words? In short, what is Bhakti? In our Bhagavad Gita, there's a whole chapter called as Bhakti Yoga. And many say from chapters 7 to 12, all of that is talking about Bhakti Yoga predominantly, you see. So it's a big portion of the Vedic literature talking about Bhakti. And the Bhakti Marg is way bigger than Jnana Marga. Please pay attention to that. There mostly speaking, people are bhaktas only. People have Shraddha, simple Shraddha. In all the simple faith only. All the religions are like that. people, the majority of people will be in the bhakti portion of that dharma, that religion. Not in the Gyan portion, few people only will follow. Few people will take to that because it requires a lot of intellectual application. And people live more by feeling, and bhakti deals with feelings. I feel. You never say. Nobody says, I have an intellectual craving for pizza. Anybody says? You say, I feel like having pizza. And like that type of feeling, I feel like this and I feel like that and I feel. Have you ever intellectually considered why you have a favorite color? Suppose your favorite color is green, as I was saying previous day. Intellectually, have you ever thought why? No, nobody thinks. What is your favorite color? I like green. Like that. Because you have a certain feeling towards green. Human beings live by feeling actually. Everything is about feeling. So, basically, the human being feels. Not that he is supposed to feel only. A human being's highest faculty is intellect. He is supposed to think. But the emotional faculty overrides the intellectual faculty more often than not. And so, he based most of his actions on feelings. And therefore, Bhakti Marga, which is based on love. Love is a feeling. Love is not an intellectual thing. In Bhakti Marga, most people follow in any religion. In Jnana Marga is less people. So that Bhakti, which is applicable to most people, that Bhakti, Bhagwan Ram is now explaining to Lakshmana. He asked about that Bhakti. Yeah? Now we will see. This is now after number 15, 15.7, 6, 2, 4, 6. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. प्रथम ही बे प्रचरण अति प्रीति निज निज कर्म निरत श्रुति रीति प्रथम ही बे प्रचरण अति प्रीति श्री राम निज निज कर्म निरत श्रुति रीति श्री श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जय रघुराम जय सीताराम श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय Prathamahi, first. See, the most important element in bhakti, any type of bhakti, devotion, is called as prem. Prem means love. I said that previously. Yeah? Prem, love. Now, see, Satu asmin parama prema rupa. In the sutras also it is said, like that. Supreme love for that. Now, prem is not, I told you, love is not an intellectual thing. So you cannot define. How you will define? Define. So Bhagavan doesn't go into any definition of bhakti and all. What is here? And what is in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also see there? Really speaking, it is gunas, means qualities, or practices. Means striving to acquire those qualities. This is, really speaking, in any discussion about bhakti, it is really the practices involved in bhakti. It is no definition of bhakti, because you cannot define love. Try. Other things, intellectual things, we can define. What is vairagya, what is jnana, what is maya, like this. The definitions in shastras every. What is bhakti? Very difficult. What is prem? So Bhagavan gets straight into telling the practices of bhakti, in other words. So what is prathamahi? First. What is that? Vipra charana ati priti. Vipra is translated generally as Brahmana. And Tulsidas ji, I tell you, in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan talks about the long passage of time. In 4th chapter, he is telling Arjuna, a long passage of time, this knowledge gets lost. So any civilization, all civilizations go through this necessarily. This is the nature of Prakriti. What? Things die. Means all the trees die. And again new ones come. So there's a decadence and then there's a renaissance. And this keeps on going necessarily because it is the nature of Prakriti. Everything has built-in self-destructive mode. That is the nature of things in the world. So now, over a long period of time, what happens to practices and ideas and thoughts and so many things, they decay and they go through periods of decadence and all that. Like for example, many of you might be hearing about our recent author. No, what is his name? Tolle. What is it? Eckhart Tolle. He wrote a very famous book, and The Power of Now. And in that book I read many years ago, when he had just written, what he said, even the word God, over a long period of time, that word has taken on so many various types of meanings and so many different shades, and really sometimes it may even turn a person off. This is what happens over a long period of time. Even when a person hears the word God, is like a red rag to a bull, or red flag or rag or whatever you show to a bull. Our Puja Gurudev used to say this also. When people hear about religion, it is like a red rag to a bull. So things happen like that. It is a same thing which has happened to this word Brahmana over a long period of time, And therefore Tulsidas does not use this word. So, I was seeing in this Ramcharitamanas compared to the word Vipra, which he uses, which comes from Vedas. Ekam Sat, Vipraha Bahudaha, Vadanti. So in Rig Veda, oldest of the Vedas, the word is coming from there. Tulsidas chooses to use this word, Vipra, in Avadi, Vipra. The Brahmana word, for every 100 Vipra word he uses, one time he uses Brahmana word. And it is because this word has a very special significance, such a wonderful word. V in Sanskrit is an upasarga, and pra becomes the root for the noun. Here, or the root for the substantive root for a verb. Visheshena, Visheshena prajna. Visheshena prajna. One who is endowed with great wisdom, great knowledge, and wisdom. So that person called a Vipra. He uses this word. And that is of great significance if you see in this Ramcharitamanas. In other words, even if we translate as Brahmana, a Brahmana is supposed to be one who is of great wisdom, great knowledge and wisdom. Simple translation is a Veda Pathi, one who is one who goes on chanting the Vedas all day, and who's endowed with good qualities. He's called as Sadachari, one who, not Nirachari, with no achar. Achari, Sadachari, like that. Huh? So, to such a person, Tulsidashi says, what is that? Charana ati priti. So now, in this first pada, first quarter of his discourse on Bhakti, Bhagwan Ram is telling two very important things. One is, see, Priti. Priti is Prem. Same I was telling you just now, right? Prem. Priti. Love. So this first element is coming. Second, the same thing, Charana, Ati Priti. Love for the feet. This word, whenever it comes, love for the feet of such and such, everywhere it comes in our literature, right? This word indicates seva. Because if you say love for the feet of the Guru, love for the feet of Bhagwan, love for the feet of the Brahmana, love for the feet of the Santa, what it means? You sit there and love the feet all day and do nothing or what? This word indicates seva. Huh? So please remember, it's a very simple connection. Love for the feet of anyone of the great souls that we talk about in Sanatana Dharma means doing seva for that one. So two things which are coming now in the first pada, Priti, Prem. One is masculine and one is feminine. Two different words like that only, right? So, Priti and Seva. No, love and Seva. Prem and Seva. Look here. Primarily, Bhakti has four main things. All these four must be there in a Bhakta, otherwise not Bhakta. Eh? Look, it means he's not complete Bhakta. He's like a dhulmul kind of Bhakta. It means halfway kind of Bhakta. Prem must be there, Shraddha must be there, Smaran must be there, and Seva must be there. All four. So Prem, love, Shraddha, great faith. Then Smaran, remembering Bhagwan all the time, remembering his name and his glories and all such things. Smaran. And then finally, Seva. And I was telling you on one of the previous days, but Vibhishan had all three. What about Seva? No Seva. All three were there, and the fourth one was missing. And that seva comes from the ripening or the maturing of these three. And that can become ripened or matured only in satsang. And that's why when he had satsang with Hanumanji, he got up to do seva of Bhagwan Ram. See? So this seva is indicated by the word charan. When we say ati priti, great love for the feet of the Brahmanas. Learn it once. Why? Because they are the ones who will remove our moha janita samshaya. In scripture it is talked like that. And here Ramayana also will remove all, because of endowed with knowledge. So they will remove all our doubts and delusions. Like that. Now, other practice now of the same bhakti. What is there? Nija nija karma nirata shruti riti. Nija nija karma nirata shruti. In Bhagavad Gita also Bhagavan talks about the same thing. Now see this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः. हरे कृष्ण. स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः. हरे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः samsiddhim lavate naraha samsiddhim lavate. The man gains perfection. How? Swe swe karmani abhirataha. By engaging himself very diligently in his own karma, in his own duties. That is the word, in one's own duties. Nija nija karma. Swe swe and nija nija is their synonyms. Nija nija, one's own. Nija nija karma. Nirata and abhirataha. Same all words and all. Copy of Bhagavad Gita only. Then only thing which is missing, which is changed, nirata shruti riti, which is given according to shruti riti, means which is laid down by shastras. And there in the Bhagavad Gita, what Bhagavan is saying there, samsiddhim lavate naraha, that man gains perfection. So the idea is to engage ourselves in our duty. Now, this is a big topic. Let me just back up a little bit and tell you. Everybody engaging in their own duty, their own work. Now, from a very, very, very simplistic standpoint, you used to hear in the villages in the old days, very simple thing. Tell me if you have not heard. I'm sure all of you have heard. Look here. Mind your own business. Have you heard this thing? Mind your own business means what? Arey bhaiya, you have this work now. You have this work. You concentrate on this work which you are doing. Correct or not? Otherwise, everybody rubbernecking. In Trinidad, we have a real bad word for that. When there is anything, a police officer just stops somebody on the side of the highway. So that time, what you're supposed to be doing? Whatever work you have at that time, just you concentrate only on. That rubbernecking thing caused a lot of trouble. See, northbound lane, a police officer has stopped somebody. Whole southbound lane is backed up. Because everybody in the southbound lane slow down to watch. See, this thing is applicable even at all levels. So I'm telling this is a very simplistic level. Nija nija karma. Nirata. Stay and revel in your own work. That is the idea. So it's such a simple thing. And the simple language of the village is you mind your own business. This is first thing. It's at a simple level. Now, Tulsidaji has given very nicely there. Nirata. And then next to it, Shruti Riti. The Shruti has given certain ways to do our work. And what is the meaning of this now? Now, this also has several levels. First thing, Shruti tells that we are supposed to do our work based on Varna, ashrama, dharma. Correct? Varna, ashrama. If I belong to this Varna caste, then I do the work of this caste. If I belong to that caste, I do the work of that caste. Like that. And ashrama. Ashrama means whatever stage of life we are. If I am a student, I should do work of student. If I am householder, I should do work of householder. Otherwise, we get them mixed up, isn't it? The students living like householder. Householder gone back to school. Because what? I did not complete my education, you know. So he's 25 years old and he's sitting in class 8. To all the 8th graders. Middle school. Hare Krishna. Doesn't look so good, na? So, based on ashrama, whatever stage of life, and based on our varna, means whatever karma, guna karma that make up my constitution, it makes me suited to do a specific type of work. You give him something else to do. Oh, Bapre. So, like for example, in our see, predominantly in our Indian community, living in US and Canada and all of these countries, all our parents, they're making all our children into brahmanas. So all of them do brahmana karma. Really? All brahmana karma. The drift is in that direction. So you take one of our youngsters from Canada, the States, and you put them, here, come, peel this vegetable. With what shall I peel it? Dear Swami, with what shall I peel it? With a potato peeler, what do you expect? Oh, then you give him a potato peeler. Now he doesn't know which side to hold it. I'm not joking. I'm telling you. See, we took some of these youngsters to our Tapovan ashram. We have an ashram in the mountains, Tapovan ashram. And I told her, hey, look, there are 10 pounds of potatoes there. I want you all to go and peel these potatoes. There are knives over there. I was shocked. Some of these youngsters did not know which side of the knife is used for peeling potatoes. So you see, he's trained in this one thing. You see, his varna really, he's trained to do brahmana karma only. You give him some any type of other karma. So I'm saying each person's aptitude, his guna karma constitution makes him suited to doing a certain type of work. And what is it? He should stick. He said he should stick to that type of work. Not some other thing. So, nija karma, determined by our guna, the constitution, distribution of gunas. You know that, the scriptures tell everywhere, you have studied already. Predominantly sattva, brahmana karma. Predominantly tamas, shudra karma. And then in between, kshatriya and vaishya. So, the constitution of guna makes him suited to do certain type of work. That is called his nija karma, his own karma. You see? This is the idea. And each person has to seek out that for himself. See, one cannot just look at your face and then determine what your karma will be. Only you can see inside your heart, na? I am predominantly sattva, rajas or tamas. I am predominantly rajas with sattva in second position and kshatriya dharma. If I am predominantly rajas with tamas in second position, I'm vaishya. So I engage in those type of work. That is the idea. Shruti. Now, Shruti Riti has second meaning. Please pay attention. Shruti Riti means the Shruti directs us how to do our karma. First, so the direction is given as to what type of karma, but it also tells how to do. What type of karma means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra karma. Right? That what type of karma? Shruti Riti. But then how? How means what? Ishvara arpana buddhi. Ishvara arpitam nechaya kritam chitta shodhakam mukti sadhakam. You know. So how? There's a what and a how as well. Shruti Riti. And the Shruti directs like this. So we should do Ishvara arpana buddhi. Isn't it? We do that work. And Gurudev used to say is not, I'm actually speaking now out of the two. And you just see our Puja Gurudev everywhere, you will hear him saying, It is not what you do That is not important. It is how you do what you do. So the Shruti tells what and how, but between the two, the important one is how. I do it in a spirit of dedication. That is the how. And that is the important thing. If I am doing that thing selfishly, well, it doesn't matter if one does Brahmana karma, Kshatriya karma, Vaishya karma, Shudra karma. If it is done selfishly, it's all same. But if it is done selflessly, that karma will be freeing. One gets freed from karma bandhana. So it is how. So that's Shruti Riti. See, all the words are so significant in the lines. Hey, where did it go? Now, when we do this our own karma duties as is directed by the Shastras, the phala, the result, is given now in next line. See how nicely Bhagavan. No, sir, a question will come up in your mind. It might come tomorrow, so but let me tell today. Just now, Bhagavan started telling about bhakti, isn't it? He's answering bhakti. Nija nija karma nirata shruti riti. This is karma yoga. Suddenly he jumped to karma yoga. How is this thing? So really speaking, there are, really speaking, two yogas, not three. Two of them. There's Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. Because Karma Yoga fits very nicely on the Bhakti Yoga. Why? Because just now we said, it is not what you do, it is how you do what you do. This is Gurudev's mantra. How we do that means if I am doing that selfishly or selflessly. That is the important thing, isn't it? If I am doing selflessly, it means I have arpana buddhi. I am doing that, I am dedicating that. Then to who? Ishvara arpitam. So if I am doing that work and dedicating it to Ishvara, that is called a Rama kaj. This is Hanumanji, Rama kaja karibe ko atur. I am doing Ram kaj, means I am doing the work of the cause of Ram. So this is Hanuman, that's why it's Hanuman Chalisa. Ram Charitama, Ram kaja kine binu mohi kaha bishram. Until I finish the work of Bhagavan Ram. And who is a greater bhakta of Bhagavan Ram than Hanumanji? And that is called, that time, that work which is done for Bhagavan and dedicated to Bhagavan, that thing is called not work anymore. That is called seva in Bhakti language. And seva is, I told you, the very epitome of, or the summit of Bhakti. That is the ripening of Bhakti, seva. So work which is done selflessly and done dedication to Bhagavan Ram, that is called as seva in the language of Bhakti Yoga. In the language of Jnana Yoga, that is called as karma, like karma yoga. That is only from that side it is called like that. Really, it is called seva. So, even though Bhagavan Sri Ram started talking about bhakti, karma is very much included in, but karma becomes seva. Okay. Now, what is the result? He says, now he himself tells. Now, see, next line, or next two lines we will see. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. एहि कर फल पुनि विषय विराग तब मम धर्म उपज अनुरागा श्री राम जय जय राम। श्रवणादिक नव भक्ति दृढ़ाहि मम लीलारति अति मन माई। संत चरण पंकज अति प्रेमा मन क्रम बचन भजन दृढ़ नेवा श्री राम जय जय राम। श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। एहि कर फल पुनि विषय विरागा। That when one does one's karma with Shruti Riti, according to the dictates of the Shruti, means I stay in my karma, I mind my business and I do that karma as duty first, and then I do that karma as seva after in dedication totally to Ishvara. When I do like that, he says, Ehi kara phala puni vishaya viraga. Viraga means the result of doing karma like this is a person develops great detachment from all worldly things. Vishaya. Vishaya means worldly things. Subtle or gross, doesn't matter. Huh? All worldly things. Because I may not be attached to a gross thing, gross object. I have some props here, you know. But I don't think these props will be used in this discourse. Huh? Maybe Gyan. Anyway, so the gross object. Gross object means your five senses can perceive that. But human beings are also attached to subtle things. Like for example, I am attached to my image. People know me as one who comes on time. That's my image. I am always on time. I don't want my image to be broken, you know. So we have image about ourselves also. Just subtle things. And we are attached to that. If that is hurt, if my image is hurt, I am hurt like anything. So like that. So the person develops vairagya from doing his duty and letting it mature into seva for Bhagwan, like that. Nija nija karma nirata shruti riti. Ehi kara phala puni vishaya viraga. Taba mama dharma upaja anuraga. When he develops vairagya, this passion from all the worldly things. If one detaches from worldly things, what will be left? Only Bhagwan. What else? When I detach from all worldly things, Bhagwan only will be left, isn't it? And that person will develop great love for the feet of Mama Dharma Upaja Anuraga. Great love for the feet of Bhagwan. Or Mama Dharma, a word is given. Living, breathing, talking, walking, laughing, Bhagwan only. Means there is nothing else for him in this world. Because he has developed detachment from everything. So for him there is only Bhagwan. And whatever he does is only an expression of the divine working through him. That is the idea. When that person dedicates his life fully to Ishvara, well, only what Ishvara? Hoi soi jo Rama rachi rakha. In his life he understands this. Only that will happen, which is dictated by Rama. It's ordained by Bhagwan Sri Ram. So, this is the result of doing one's duty as seva eventually. Only dedicated seva to the Lord. Then, Shravanadika nava bhakti ridhahi mama lila rati ati manamahi. Shravanadika bhakti means, this is referring to the 9 Navada bhakti which is given in Bhagavatam. Very famous. 9 types of devotion. I'm sure all of you would have heard this. Shravanadi. Adi in Sanskrit means etc. How you say in American language? Etc. Etc. So, Shravanadi. And in Avadhi becomes here Shravanadika. Shravana, etc. etc. So, what is a Shravana, etc.? What is it? That is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoho, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Smaranam Pada, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam. I get more than 9 now. Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmani Vedanam. So 9, my counting not so good, but you please count. Shravanam is 9 types of devotion which is given in Bhagavatam. Huh? So, the person who does his duty like this and dedicates everything to Bhagwan, he's engaged in Rama Kaj like Hanumanji, all the time doing the work of Bhagwan Ram, he develops also Dridhahi means firmness. He develops firmness, unwavering swabhav or nature, unwavering nature he develops in these 9 types of devotion. Shravanam. This Shravana is very important thing. This Shravanadik is mentioning. But Shravanam is listening. All spirituality, all things start from Shravanam. You see, if a person cannot hear, then things become very, very difficult. Shravanam. As Shravanam Kirtanam. Means listening, then Kirtanam, singing the praises. Singing praise, chanting like Kirtanam. Kirt in Sanskrit means to praise actually. To praise. To glorify. Like that. Smaranam, remembering Bhagwan. Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, doing Seva, just now we were talking about the Pada Sevanam, doing Pada means feet. Archanam, worship. Vandanam, doing prostrations. Dasyam, serving, becoming a servant. Sakhyam, becoming Bhagwan in 4th chapter, it's such a nice thing. He tells Arjuna, you know why, my dear Arjuna? See, I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan. You see that passage there in 4th chapter beginning. I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave to Manu Ityadi and he came down like this and then got lost. And today I am giving to you. You know why? Because you're my friend. What only one rationale Bhagwan is giving for giving Arjuna this knowledge. You're my friend. Sakhameti, you're my and therefore I'm imparting to you, my friend. So this Sakhyam and Atmanivedanam means total surrender to Bhagwan, total merging with Bhagwan like this. All these are different expressions of bhakti in Bhagavatam. So the person develops dridata, means firmness in these types of devotion. And see, let me tell you one more thing before we continue. Do you know, we don't have to be jack of all trades and master of none. Have you heard this phrase? You become jack of all trades and master of none. In one type of devotion, if we take, at one time I was staying in Vrindavan for a few months. So, one great Swamiji is there, Swami Khandananji Maharaj. So I had gone to his ashram and I was staying there for some time. In that ashram there is a temple. And in that temple, one sadhu used to come there and every day he had a long stick like this. Every single day. His stick was not about this length only. Piece of stick. This is a rope and not a stick. But his stick was this long. And he used to come there and sit in that temple from 4 to 6 in the evening time. 4 to 6 because 6 o'clock Arati will start and all that. Anyways, he used to come there from 4 to 6. And 2 hours by himself, he will just go on singing bhajan of Bhagwan Krishna. And with his stick in front of him, he used to knock for tal, like this, just to get the rhythm. No musical instrument, no tabla, no harmonium, no nothing. He used to knock for tal only to get that rhythm like that. And he went on singing 2 hours alone. He had become so famous, so many people used to just come to, nobody used to go to listen to Swamiji. To that time, whatever, Swamiji also stopped everything. Whoever Swami, they're talking, and they have to stop because they know that he'll come there and sit. And he'll sing Shri Ram, Jai Ram, and that bhajan of Bhagwan, Krishna, whatever bhajan. 2 hours non-stop, every single day. So, and nishtha in one type of this bhakti, 9 types of bhakti, in one type, nishtha is enough. Kirtanam, you see, singing the glory of Bhagwan. So, Shravanadhikanavad Bhakti Dridhahi, then Mama Leela Rati Ati Manamahi. The Mama Leela word is very, very profound. Reveling in the Leela of Bhagwan. So all of these phrases are so wonderful, you know. Look here. If it is Bhagwan himself, with his own intrinsic, internal power, his innate power, he himself has manifested as this universe of Nama Rupa. In our Sanatana Dharma, we don't discount this Nama Rupa Prapancha, you know. We speak about the Jiva getting taken over by this Prapancha, Maya Prapancha, made of names and forms, taking it to be real, and in that taking it to be real, there is forgetfulness of the substratum which gives it existence. This is the problem only. It's not that there is anything wrong or anything not divine about this prapancha. No, it is nothing like that. If it is the manifestation of Bhagwan himself, how it will not be divine? It is when we take that alone to be the real thing, and in doing that, there is forgetfulness of this adhisthana, or the substratum, the adhar of the entire prapancha. It is that forgetfulness of the adhara that is the problem for the jiva. So from that vein only, we go on saying things about sansar and about, attachment to this world and all of that sort of thing. But for the person who is, or who understands the adhar or the support, the adhisthana of the world, for that person, he sees this divine leela of Bhagwan. There's a divine leela. And this divine leela, he revels in it. So it's called as Mama Leela Rati Ati Manamahi. He revels it. See, you have heard of this, I think, already. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Muramate. Yogarto va, bhogarto va, sangarto va, sangavihina, yasya brahmani ramate chittam, nandati nandati nandatyeva bhajago. Govindam bhaja muramate, bhaja muramate. For the person who understands the substratum of the universe, yogaratova, bhogaratova, whether he is engaged in yoga or bhoga, sangaratova, sangavihina, whether he is in the company of people, sangha, association, sangavihina, then nobody, all alone. Yasya Brahmani Ramate Chittam, who has understood that substratum and reveling in that substratum, but Nandati, Nandati, Nandati. He revels only. So he says, Mama Leela Rati. Ati Manamai. Rati means revel. Nandati. He revels in the Leela of, see, everywhere, wherever he looks, it is my Ram only. Rama here, Rama there, Rama everywhere. And everything is Rama's Leela. He laughs. One sadhu, he was sitting one day like this on the tree. Then some fellow had just robbed some place, and he had a bag of loot. Loot, huh? He had a bag of loot. He was coming with that. And then the police came after that man. So he realized that the police is right there on his heels and they'll catch up with him. So what? This sadhu is sitting here. This man came and he deposited that bag of loot with that sadhu. He dropped it on his lap. And he ran away, thinking, yes, Bhole Bhale Sadhu, I'll come back later and I will take it from him or whatever. Meanwhile, police came. They saw this bag of loot with the sadhu. So, huh? Oh, you fellow, you robbed there, now you're pretending to be sadhu. They caught him and gave him to thappar like that, and took him and they took him to that prison and all. With loot and everything. Pretending to be sadhu. So, next morning, they produced him before the judge. So the judge said, so now what do you have to say for yourself? You were caught red-handed with this bag of loot. He said, Your Honor, by the grace of Bhagwan Sri Ram, I was sitting under that tree. By the grace of Bhagwan Sri Ram, one fellow deposited a bag of loot with me. By the grace of Bhagwan Sri Ram, the police officers came and they grabbed me. By the grace of Bhagwan Sri Ram, they gave me some thappar also. By the grace of Bhagwan Sri Ram, they took me in that jail. By the grace of Bhagwan Sri Ram, they brought me here in front of you now. What to say? What else I'll say? So that judge, a very wise judge, he realized, Arey, this is really simple. Bhole Bhale Sadhuji. He really could not have stolen this thing, you know. He believed that story also, that somebody deposited that bag with him and all. So that sadhu said, okay, take, hey, leave that bag here, you go. Go home. That sadhu said, and also by the grace of Bhagwan Sri Ram, now you let me go. So whether they beat me, lock me up, whether they free me, all the grace of Bhagwan Ram. Every part of the sansar he sees as the divine Leela of Bhagwan Ram. That is the idea. Eh? There's nothing else which is going on. So Mama Leela Ati Mati Mana Rati Ati Mana Mahi. So revel in his mind in the Leela of Bhagwan. My Ram is working everywhere. Actually, it's a wonderful exercise. I don't know why people do other exercise. If you want to really discover this Ram, you have to come to Trinidad. Then here you'll discover Ram very nicely. See, right here in the ashram, I got up just a few days ago. In Trinidad, we have something called bachak. You don't know what is a bachak because in America, you have no bachak. A bachak is a big ant like this. Huge fellow, eh? Ant. Not uncle ant, takara kind of ant. Eh? Ant means that crawls on the ground. Big fellow. And in front of his head, he has two sharp clippers like this. And they come into the ashram, or they come wherever, and overnight, they will collect all the nice, soft, tender leaves of any plant. And they'll take it to their nest. They have some process and all you see in these all documentaries. And anyway, they go there and ferment it to And the fermenting bacteria, they eat that only. They don't eat the leaves, but they collect leaves. I tell you, if you see the intelligence of these creatures, and so many of these tropical creatures and things happening in the tropics, you see the intelligence, you will really see, I tell you, Bhagavan's Leela are played out so nicely in all things. Intelligence abounds in the universe, you know, because it is the Lord's Leela which is going on. So, this Leela is divine Leela of the Lord, and for one to really recognize that, one has to slow down. See, in this today's modern world, we don't slow down. It's a fast-paced rat race. You have to slow down and take a deep breath and look at the plants and the flowers and look at the universe and look at the sky and the stars and look at things around. It's just a simple practice only. One will start developing an appreciation for Bhagavan's Leela, which is there in so many varied ways. In such a multifarious ways, this Leela expresses itself. So to revel in the Leela of Bhagavan. This is also the... Now, next one. Sant Charan, and this is perhaps Tulsidasji's most favorite. And in Bhakti Marg, Sant Purusha have a special place. See this, how Sant Purush is given a special place in this Bhakti Marg. Listen to all the words. बार बार बर मागऊ हर्षि देहु श्रीरंगो राम हर्षि देहु श्रीरंग पद सरोज अनपायिनी भगति सदा सत्संग सिया बर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम. This is called Doha. This is the second most popular verse in this Ramayana, Doha from Uttarakhand. But you know, this tradition has, we brought here to the Caribbean since 1845, this tradition. And even today, 170 something odd years after, this thing is still going on. And how many countless generations before it is going on. We say, Siyavara Ramachandra ki jai, Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki jai, Mahapati Mahadev ki jai. And last we leave, Sab Santan ki jai. Sant. We never fail to do this thing. So how this tradition has given that place to Sant? Look where the saints are placed. Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki, Siyabara Ramachandra ki, Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki, Mahapati Mahadev ki, and we saw like how Bhakti is left for last. The best is always left for last. So, Sant Charan, Pankaj, Ati Prema. Sant means saint. And you see, Sant and saint in English. See where you can see where the word came from? Sant, saint. Saint. Not Santa. So, Sant and then Charan, Seva. And then, next word Pankaj is lotus. Lotus feet of the saints. Ati Prema. Great love for the lotus feet of the saint. Now see how this word which is given, that Tulsidas ji makes his choice of words like this. He never chooses one word just arbitrarily like that. And we do that. But he never does this. Every word, every single word is thought out and put there. So, Sant Charana Pankaj, the lotus, Pankaj means lotus. Pankaja. Panka means, it is mud. Mud and that dirty, and that ja which is born there. So that which is born in that mud, dirty water, that is called as lotus. And this word most appropriately describes a santa. How? A saint is he who lives in this Maya prapancha, who lives in this samsara, who lives in all this distracting universe with all of the, you see, we were describing the previous day, good and evil. But like that lotus, not one iota of that dirt, of that water ever gets into that lotus. Correct? It is sweet to the smell and beautiful to the eyes and attractive to the bees and adored by everybody. The saint never allows any of the impurities of this sansar to get into his heart. And that's why I see after reveling in the Leela of Bhagwan only, the type of bhakti is given immediately after that. Because it's describing a saint. Sant Charana Pankaja Ati Prema. Great love for this saint. Saint who never allows any impurity to get into his heart, to corrupt his heart, corrupt his mind. He sees only all beauty everywhere. He lives for the benefit of others. See, one other thing. And this is, actually, if you are a sociologist, it might be very, very wise for you to study this Ramcharitamanas, because Sant Tulsidas ji is also called Santa. Our school building is going up here, just on the outside of where I'm talking, a few 100 feet from here. A school building is going on, 50,000 square feet of space. And that campus of the school is called Sant Tulsidasi campus. Right here. So Santa word is used, Sant Tulsidas ji. Huh? So he chooses all these words most appropriately. Whatever he is doing, he chooses like that only. Not that he just arbitrarily chooses word. And if I was saying, if you are studying sociology, you should study how he has chosen certain words for certain things. Tulsidas ji lived, and we are still living in a world where, even though we say that the caste system has brought so much of dreaded things to our society, to the society, and continues to be so, and all what we call Western media and all, they all make a poke fun at it, like that. They go on telling, those who are untouchables, and you hear these words all the time coming out, right? Because we have brought this upon ourselves as a people, as a civilization. And just now Tulsidas in the beginning mentioned there the love for the feet of the Brahmanas. So the caste is quickly given in the beginning of Bhakti. But then here, in the middle of his discourse now, he is telling, Sant Charana Pankaja Ati Prema. And this word Sant is totally stripped off, devoid of, bereft of any linkages or any ties to caste. So you start with a word that is strongly tied to caste, but right in the middle of his discourse now, the Santa word, saint, is a word which is totally devoid of any linkages to caste. It means one whose heart is absolutely pure and uncorrupted by anything in sansara. This is the idea. Eh? And he says here, to have ati prema, great love for the, see there, ati priti, ati prema. I told you the synonyms. Eh? Great love for the feet of saints. And mana, krama, bachana, bhajana, dridha, nema. And in body, mana, krama, bachan. This is in the tradition, all traditions of India, the three are spoken about. Mind, body, and speech. Mana, krama, bachan. Bhajana, dridha, nema. Firm adoration and worship in body, speech and mind to Bhagwan and to Saint, Santa. It could be read both ways. So with body, speech and mind, to be firmly adoring, worshipping, praising the Lord. See, bhajan word is used, and bhajan word also has big application. Eh? Bhaja govindam, bhaja word means to worship. So with body, speech and mind, to worship firmly that saint or that Lord. And now time is over. We will see the rest tomorrow. Not many are there.